Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of CookieCast. Today on CookieCast, it's football, soccer, the great game. Little problem though, one of the hosts didn't turn up. So I would say I had to step in and man the post, but I mean I'm not really a substitute for a host. See what I did there? Yes, it's football, and just me and Mr. Williams this week. If you are checking us out on YouTube, do us a favour, just click that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you have, you're an absolute hero, so thanks. So here we go. This is CookieCast. You can't see the forest for the Tees. Absolutely for the first time today, with no technical, hiccups, errors, or whatever, and the disappointment that you can't see what's written at the bottom of Paul's screen. There's only you here to do the intro, so I guess it defaults to you.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Welcome along, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the show that, whilst it never ends, it does sometimes work with reduced members and reduced staff, if you will. But it is another thrilling instalment of You Can't See the Forest, quite literally, for the Tees. Now, this week, unfortunately, Mr. Panas has had to take a leave of absence because he lives in the arse end of nowhere, and the hamster must have died or something. So the internet's just non-existent. So a little moment of silence for the deceased hamster. So there you go. So unfortunately for all those Nottingham Forest-based listeners out there, unfortunately you'll be getting a borough-based flavour for the podcast this week.
I mean, I could pick up the slack, but I don't want to.
I knew you would. Technically, if we'd have known, what we should have done is we should have been on the blower straight away to Matt Moore and was like, Matt, you're going to have to tag in.
Do you know something? Was it last week was similar? He had internet issues last week. There was a point where we knew he was unavailable. I was like, absolutely should have got Matt sat him. Saying I was partially dissing the Forest there, but I was like, I'm pretty sure I've put them down for a good run this week, and then I double checked. I was like, oh no, that's right. Nearly shot myself in the foot there. Paul is correct. It's football-based podcastness. His lordship is not here. So, as we all know, means it's going to be a quick one. This week in football, anything football flavoured? Tell me more about what in my head is now just some kind of obscure pyramid scheme of Premier League football.
Hey?
Where they want the guys at the top to have all the power and the guys at the bottom can,
Oh, this is that thing we've been covering the last couple of weeks. I don't think any more's come out about it really. It's still they're still working to the case of something needs to change for the sort of the distribution of the wealth that needs to be looked into so that more clubs don't just go to the wall. Can't think of anything major. Obviously, the reintroduction of the second lockdown has put a kibosh on any amateur-based sporting endeavours. So for people such as myself, who plays twice a week, That's not happening anymore. So that's been lopped off at the knees. So no more exercise with the ball for this guy. I'll have to resort to actually going for a run.
Don't even get me started, because today is the first day in the last 2 months that I've been not able to go for a run. And whereas 2 months ago I'd have been like, that's a real shame. Today I've been like, I gotta do something. But apparently I can still go around the garden. So I'm going to do 400 laps of the garden in the morning. Anything like, have we got any movers and shakers? Any... Have Forest signed another 90 players? Because there's a lot of names I'm not recognising these days.
Well, there's no... In theory, unless they're free agents, people shouldn't be signing anybody now, because the transfer window is closed.
Maybe there's only one name that I was like, never heard this guy before.
Let's have a look. Let's see if there's anything that jumps out from the world of football on the Sky Sports football app. Let's have a look at that.
Sky Sports.
Oh,
he's live! He's alive! Whee.
Obviously, the podcast viewers are on tenterhooks, wondering what's about to happen. The listeners don't know any different.
Well, there's been a divide, hasn't there? There's been a divide. I've noticed. I've been checking the numbers. I don't feel we need to dwell on which is the top rated podcast at the moment on the CookieCast network. We don't need to talk about that. We don't need to dwell on it. We don't need to talk any numbers like that. But I think the YouTube guys have broken off into a different division. There's all sorts going on over on the YouTubes. If you want to see our beautiful, I was going to say manicured face. I was like, that's not right. Something not right there. I mean, it does look like someone took a sandpaper to my face, so maybe that's what I meant. So has there been anything... There's nothing major to speak of?
Nothing really that I can think of off the top of my head. I mean, Man United lost again last night, as was at the time of recording. So the pressure's very much on Ollie to either shape up, or shit out.
I saw something about that. Gerrard?
Some guy called into Talk Sport, and then was just like, we should break the bank and go for Steven Gerrard to come in to be our next manager. And everyone was like, Steven Gerrard will absolutely despise Man United. There isn't a chance in hell he's going to go and be your manager.
I mean, surely it's just a matter of zeros, isn't it?
I suppose, but I don't know. There's certain clubs that you just don't go to. You just don't join if you're from certain clubs. Like, so, if you're I mean, it's not as bad here as it is elsewhere, but there's definitely animosity between United and Liverpool. Let's put it that way. So I'd be very surprised. Let's put it that way if it happened. Yeah, nothing that I can think of. Oh, Maradona.
There you go.
Had to go into the hospital for emergency surgery.
Good.
He had a blood clot either on his brain.
Oh.
So, Diego Maradona could be released from hospital on Friday after being admitted on Monday, suffering from anemia and dehydration. He had surgery on Tuesday to treat a subdural hematoma, an accumulation of blood between a membrane and his brain.
Ooh.
But no, I'd seen plenty of stuff to say that he'd had the surgery and he was out of the worst danger and stuff like that. So hopefully that'll continue to go in that particular way, and he will be able to return to his normal life.
Here's hoping. So, I've got the pen, got the book. Let's look back. And obviously it was the podcast derby. The Middlesbrough took on the Forest. Battle of the big dogs. Swords, guns, knives, the works. According to what I've got written down here, and your good self for furnishing me with Mr. Panis's alleged picks. Alleged. We have to say alleged so we don't get sued. Everybody was on the side of the Borough. Unusual when, this podcast is supposed to be split down the middle. James did give his boys a little shot, but obviously not a win. I had zero faith in Nottingham Forest. You and James went for the same. Paul, what was the score in the Middlesbrough Nottingham Forest game?
Well, Andrew, the score finished a resounding Middlesbrough 1, Nottingham Forest 0.
Points all round, just not full points. So everybody gets a point for that because everyone picked Middlesbrough to win. I feel, looking at the scores, that if I'd have just notched it down a touch, I'd have been nailed on there. The person to score that goal was...
Well, he doesn't get many. But he did get the winner on Saturday. He goes by the name of Marvellous Marvin A. Johnson.
Now, as you correctly pointed out, doesn't get a lot of goals. And for that very reason, he doesn't get a lot of picks. So
that is also true.
Of the one goal not a single person picked, Mr. Johnson. Johnson. So it's just the points for the predictions. Everybody got a point. So points on the board, but nobody got any extra points picking the goal scorer. Moving swiftly on to another Middlesbrough game. I think you and I have already discussed this week. A lot of games going on. Obviously, that is rectified with next week's games. But Blackburn Rovers versus Middlesbrough.
So, this game was picked for live televisual purposes.
Really?
So therefore, I was able to tuck in and feast upon the delicious, what could only be described as bountiful harvest of assured goals that was coming my way because of the way that Borough had been putting teams to the sword, left and right. They'd been carving out chances. They'd been putting them away. No,
No.
Didn't really turn out that way, sadly. Yeah, we had a double bagel game.
It was 0-0. Blackburn Rovers, Middlesbrough 0-0. Now then, this is where things get worse. Your good self, lot of faith in Middlesbrough, lot of faith. Rightly so. Middlesbrough are not the team they were last season. Me, some faith in Middlesbrough. I was like, I'm not going to go too heavy on this one. They've already played, a little bit tired, a little bit sleepy, no-nos. Just the one goal. But no, there were no goals. Unfortunately, James Panas went crazy with all the goals, but gave a Desmond, which is a draw. Which gets him a point.
Certainly does.
Disgusting. In one of those situations, he didn't give me any goal scorers, but that wouldn't have mattered anyway. So, point on the board for James Panas and James Panas only.
Yes.
Brings us swiftly to another Nottingham Forest game. Nottingham Forest versus Coventry City. And this is where it really went wrong for one of our party. Paul, what was the score in that game?
So, the game we're referring to, of course, being Nottingham Forest versus Coventry City. There were 3 goals in the contest. 2 of them scored by Nottingham Forest.
Indeed.
A consolation goal for Coventry City. Doesn't tell the whole story of the game, though, Andrew, because the winner for Nottingham Forest came in the 97th minute via the penalty spot.
Ooh, lovely.
Goals scored by the following people: McKenna, centre half, Scottish. Lyle Taylor. Coventry goal scored by O'Hare.
I mean, if he's not Irish and his first name isn't Paddy, then
I mean, there's no justice in the world, is there?
I know.
However, Mr. Panas did submit a prediction for this game.
He did.
His prediction was 2-0 to Nottingham Forest. And he predicted goals scored by Joe Lolly. Did not score. He did, however, predict a score from Lyle
Oh,
Taylor.
you're joking. Because this was the other bit that I didn't have when I was doing it. Oh, that just makes things even worse. As I have already said to you today, we will wish that he hadn't given us his predictions. So that there, point for your good self for predicting a Forest win. You went crazy with the goals that week. Point for Mr. Panas for predicting a Nottingham Forest win. And another point for predicting a Taylor goal. No points. No points for me. No points. Eagle-eyed or eagle-eared amongst you who have got either a calculator or a mathematical brain will have worked out. Everybody got points for the Middlesbrough Forest game, and that's where it went a little awry. Only James Panas took points out of the second Borough game of the week. Paul and James both took points out of the Forest game. James taking more than everybody. Winner for this week, with twice as many as the second place, James Panas with 4 points. I would congratulate him, but he's not here, so you know, doesn't matter, does it? 2 for your good self, and just a 1 for me. I feel I'm not channeling it enough. I'm not channeling.
You'll get there, Andy. You'll get there. Once the Forest have got themselves back on an even keel, where they're producing regulation results. I'm sure you'll be fine.
That could be what's putting me off.
Could be.
I would say, speaking of Forest, but the first game of this week is the Borough. So let's talk about games for this week. The Bees take on the Borough. Brentford going up against Middlesbrough. I have already put a prediction down.
Interesting.
And as it's your team and you need to go last, and his lordship's not here, I will tell you what my prediction is. I have gone for a 1 and a 2. 1
Wow.
and a 2.
Wow.
My goal scorers for Brentford, Ben Rama. I knew you were going to say that.
Doesn't play for him anymore.
He's listed on their freaking site.
Yeah, he's on loan at West Ham.
This is absolutely reprehensible. Right, well, whilst I correct what is clearly a mistake on whoever runs their website's part, I'll also tell you, who am I talking about? Brentford. Where the friggin' hell's the Brentford page? Ah, there it is. And I went with Doop Doop Doop, Brits on Malonga, and Tavernier for some Borough goals.
Nice.
Let me get someone. Here we go. Ben Rat. Absolutely is my fault. Absolutely. It says across the bottom of his picture, out on loan. I apologise, Brentford website owner.
Sullying the good name of the Brentford website.
So I'll go with Cesar Joel Valencia Castillo, because he's also on loan. I mean, is it going to be Godos? Because if that's not a bad guy name,
I don't even know who that is.
Saman Godos. It could even be Godos. Or
it's getting dangerously close to being Thanos territory.
It is, and that's what I'm thinking. Or do I go with Tony?
So I think he'll probably be their top scorer at the minute.
Let's have some Tony. Jesus Christ! Right, Ben Rama, you're out. You can't score. Not for these guys anymore. So it's Tony. Tony. See, I'm even more worried now about my other pick. So I'm just gonna very casually have a little wander over to these. Speaking of wandering over, that's my prediction for this here game. Poorly predicted.
That right there. That right there. That's a lovely little segue. Wandering over.
You like that?
If only we were moving directly onto that second game. But sadly I've got to give my pick.
Now I have checked, and the person I've picked still plays for said team. So I think we might be all right.
Good up. Right then. So
here we go.
Brentford versus Borough.
You looked unsure on this one.
Borough are on a good run, but I just think Brentford are a better team. They're a stronger side. They've definitely got better players. Don't get me wrong, we're playing really well, but I think that they've got the ability to put teams to the sword quite comfortably. So excuse me, obviously got emotional there. Just my throat couldn't take it, my chest just not too inflamed. I have gone for a Brentford 1-0 win.
Really?
Yeah. And I also think it will be Tony.
Just leaves a little gap right through the middle of the predictions there.
I'm sure he'll get him into us when he feels like.
Any of you who didn't pick up on our joke, our awesome joke, will not understand that.
But Andrew, why comb through the old stuff?
I just need a moment to talk about Nottingham Forest, the other team that's allegedly on this podcast, going up against the Wycombe Wanderers. So now all the jokes become clear if you weren't following along. I'll
go first.
I've already had a pick, but you're going to go first because you're first on the list.
I'll go first.
Go on.
And then you can round us out spectacularly with your pick. So, I am going to, as he's not here, literally on the sofa because of, rules. And dead hams. I'll take up his position of giving the outrageous Forest win prediction. So, stick me down for a 3-0 Nottingham Forest win.
You love predicting 3-0 for Forest these days.
Yeah, because it's going to happen at some point.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
Is it?
Big time. They're going to beat someone 3-0 this season. Why not this weekend?
Your goal scorers.
He seems to have hit a bit of form, so Taylor. I think Graben's unwell or lacking match fitness.
Because of...
I don't think he started the last 2 or 3 games.
I mean, that helps me massively with my prediction.
So yeah, I'll go for Lyle Taylor. A lolly thumper.
Okay.
And stick me down for a shithouse goal. Obviously, for those regular listeners, they'll know exactly what I'm on about. But for those people joining for the first time, that will be Ryan Yates,
also known as shithouse.
Chitter.
I've had to do a little slashy on my prediction now because I wasn't aware of Mr. Graben's status. I have gone for a 1-1. Now, I think that's fair. He's not in the room. Didn't have to give him a goal, but I still did. So I think that's fair. So all fair and love and war and all that. I've gone Grabham/Taylor because I'd already written it down. So and my goal scorer for Wycombe Wanderers, which is almost definitely about to become somebody different because this person probably doesn't play football. He's probably Egg and Spoon champion of the North or something. Samuel.
Look.
He's listed as being on the website. That's my defence. See, this is the thing. I try and do my research, get my picks ready to roll, all of that. Don't say what. Look, he's there, right there.
So he's on the substitutes bench. Didn't get on the last game, but he is there. So it can happen.
It can happen. Right there you go.
From an odds perspective, Andrew.
Yes, please.
Your 2-1 Middlesbrough is 12-1.
Ooh.
Your 1-1 draw with Forest Wycombe is 6-1, giving you a double of 90-1.
That's the one we want. That's it. That's the money shot.
I, on the other hand, had the Brentford 1-0, 11-2. The Forest 3-0 at 11-1. Giving me a double of 77-1.
Good number as well. I like it. So, I saw from my digging around that there's like cups and things going on. EFL, is it? So, that means that those are the only games.
Ooh, no, we covered it external to the podcast last week. It's the start next week of the infamously named.
Oh yeah, the package. I hope someone's getting free pizza out of it. That's all I hope. I hope someone along the line is like, this pizza's tasting great because it was free.
I think it was like something like 10 years ago. Papa John's became the official pizza sponsor or official pizza supplier to the Football League. So this isn't their first dabbling with football-based sponsorship and things like that.
Freaking Papa John's, man.
Let's put it this way. There used to be a thing for the NFL, and I can't remember. I think that was Papa John's, but it was if there was 50 points scored in the game, you got 50% off your pizza, and everyone was just like, right, let's get watching the Chiefs.
Was it Peyton Manning that aligned himself with Papa John's?
Yeah, he was on the Papa John's adverts for a while. Yeah, funny.
Not a man to shy away from a few advertisement pennies, is he? Old Pates loves it.
He knows which side his bread's buttered, and then signed and then placed inside his pocket. So
yeah. Well, that is predictions in the bag for our upcoming week. Maybe we'll even get James Panas's before the games have A, kicked off, B, played, and C, well, long gone. Who knows? AOB, any other business? Go.
Nothing from me.
I was going to talk about a video I saw earlier where Ronaldo was still at United, and they talked about him finishing up a goal, and it was like, yeah, he literally, the goal was like there, and he was like there, and he just ran into the goal with the ball because the keeper was nowhere to be found. But the guy that had like brought it down the pitch managed to keep the ball on the pitch, even though it seemed to like go out of play and stuff. It was insane. Oh yeah, Ronaldo, finished it up nicely. Literally right place at the right time. Hey. Well, thank you for taking the time to join me. Always an absolute pleasure. I'm sure at some point we'll have to arrange a t-shirt for you that's like,
I mean,
we're going to have to put some kind of number on it. We'll have to be like podcast champion 2000 podcasts and counting.
Get it across the back.
Podcast tour, NFL, football, wrestling, bull stuff, bulldogs. Right. Thank you very much, and until next time, I'll bid you adieu. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
So there you go. What do you think to that? I think we do all right. Without Mr. Panas. I think we manage. Get cracking, get on, get it done. Get the information over to you. Just like that. YouTube watchers, do become YouTube subscribers. Get all those juicy benefits that the subscribers get that you only find out about when you subscribe. Yeah. Everybody jump over to cookiecast.com. Check us out over there. Use one of the features to drop us a line. Tell us how you're getting on. Why not? So that's it for this one. Till next time, I'm going to say bye, and I will see you then. Bye.